Yo, what's up, guys? Paulie Malignaggi and Tommy Rainone here. This is Tommy and Paulie's Big Fight Forecast. We got two shows this week. You guys may have tuned into our first show of the week. The reason we have two shows this week is because, well, degeneracy runs high on big boxing weekends, and there is a major, monstrous boxing weekend this coming weekend. So there were so many fights and boxing lines and betting lines to discuss that me and Tommy had to put out two shows because we have a lot of thoughts on these shows, and we're gonna record. If we're gonna record a show, we don't want to sit through a 2-3 hour show. So we recorded two shows. We hope you watched our first show where we had a part of the schedule for this weekend. And now, Tommy, we're gonna jump into the second part of the schedule for this weekend. So many good fights, so many good cards. Three big cards. We got Usyk Dubois. We got Bam versus Cafu, Bam Rodriguez versus Cafu, and we got the Saturday night PBC main event, which is Pacquiao and Barrios. Not to mention some very good fights on all these cards. Let's jump in, bro. What do you got to say?
So my Saturday's gonna be packed, bro. And I'm going to a concert Saturday night. So my Saturday's gonna be from
What
the
are you gonna have your
bar.
phone? You know, that's the beautiful thing about the technology. You can take the phone to the concert, and
Yeah,
so
I
you
got
watch the fights and enjoy the concert.
yeah, so I'm going in the afternoon. I'm gonna hit up a bar and watch the Usyk fight, which takes place about 4:30.
And if all goes well, the results of the fights will pay for your concert tickets.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And all my drinks and maybe some popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
All right, bro. Well, let's jump in, bro. We got let's look at the fights we didn't look at yesterday. We're gonna obviously, if you guys watched our show from yesterday, we hope you watched that and looked at some of the lines on there and some of our discussions there. Obviously, you know the kind of angles we look at. We look at more the parlay angle, and you got to build your own parlay. We like to discuss our angles, and our angle is the parlay angle. But of course, building a parlay, we give our picks, and then building a parlay is a personal thing. Remember, everything discussed on the Tommy and Paulie Big Fight Forecast is not gambling or betting advice or investing advice. It is strictly, all conversation is strictly for entertainment purposes. Let's look at this first fight we're going to discuss on this episode. It's Isaac Cruz against Angel Fierro. This is a rematch. It's a rematch of a pretty good fight. I didn't think it was all that competitive the first fight. I mean, it was competitive. It was fun. It was action-packed. But did this fight really need a rematch, Tommy?
it does need a rematch, especially when PBC fighters are lucky to get one fight a year. So now you could have used Cruz in a different situation because he won that first fight by unanimous decision. He won pretty easily, not easily in on paper easily. In competitiveness, it was a war. It was a really good fight, and I bet that first fight to go the distance. And my buddy was tapped on the shoulder in the first round, and he was like, "Dude, are you sure about your bet?" I said, "Don't worry, it's gonna go the distance.
It's gonna slow down.
It'll slow down." It didn't really slow down that much, but it was a great fight. It was a war. It was a borderline fight of the year candidate.
So what's the angle here? Is it another distance fight? I mean, can these guys go to war again for another 10 rounds? Is there a stoppage in the cards here? Is there prop bets? Is there knockdowns? I don't know, man.
You know what? I see a big replay of the first fight, Paulie. The only difference between this fight and the first fight is the first fight was a 10 rounder. This is a 12 rounder.
So a little bit more complicated for the distance.
Yeah. So I mean, you got the extra 2 rounds. I still favor Cruz to win the fight. Cruz is become a 12-round fighter himself. A lot of his fights, if you look at his recent history, he's going 12 rounds time and time again. As you know, he has a very good chin himself.
What are we looking at odds-wise for this thing?
I think he's about a minus 550 on the money line. On the decision, that's where you can make a little bit of money on Cruz and in the minus 220 ballpark. But about minus 220. But you know what? I don't know if Cruz can perform better than he did the first time. And that each fight takes a lot out of Cruz. Cruz fights these hard wars. So
are you saying Fierro has a chance for an upset here?
Outside chance. But I still like the distance. Here's the thing: is Fierro's never been 12 rounds. He's been the 10-round distance several times, but he's never been 12 rounds. On the other hand, Cruz has never scored a knockout past round 8. So, when you look at it like that, you say to yourself, well, once you get past round 8, you're pretty much there's uncertain territory for Fierro. But Cruz has never established himself after round 8.
And the pace typically slows down later in the fight, so guys may not be able to go for that stoppage.
Yeah, so I'd favor Cruz again, but again, I don't think he performed a lot better than he did the first time around. So I do see this fight going the distance. I think that's the safest bet. It's in the ballpark of minus 320. So you build in a parlay.
You just don't pick a winner. Just fight to go the distance.
I like this fight to go.
So basically, the only way you get screwed is in a technical decision.
Correct. And you know what? If you want to be serious, if you want to put Cruz in for the decision, that's not the worst idea in the world because I do see the fight going the distance. I'll tell you what's not going to happen. What's not going to happen is Cruz is not going to get stopped. Cruz is
Yeah.
reliable. You know, so this is a situation where if you wanted to put a couple of different parlays out there, bet the distance and bet Cruz for the decision or Cruz for the money line, actually. You bet Cruz for the money line and you also bet the fight to go the distance. The only way you can get hurt is if Cruz should get stopped, which isn't going to happen.
And that's what you're looking at. I see. All
Yeah.
right. It's not a
But I'm expecting another war. I'm expecting these guys are familiar with each other already, and
I think the fight was entertaining in that regard, but like I do agree with you that as entertaining as it was, I'm not sure that it really necessitated a rematch here.
no,
Is it at 135 or is it 140?
I think it's a 135.
135. So it's I don't know. Are they trying to just create a
Double check that, but I don't see this as warranted as a rematch. More so, you know as well as I do with these PBC fighters. I mean, they aren't active. They're lucky to get one fight a year. So to use Isaac Cruz in a rematch situation on a pay-per-view undercard again, where he won the fight handily the first time on points, there's no demand for a rematch. So I think it's silly personally.
All right. Well, that's that. So, that's our thoughts on
Oddly enough, they don't have a weight on BoxRec, but I'm thinking it's 35.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next one. That's our quick thoughts on Cruz versus Fierro. Next one is Brandon Figueroa against Joey Gonzalez. Joey Gonzalez, I had seen on Pro Box in his last fight. He was I think he beat Kagai, right? Arnold Kagai.
Yeah, and
Kagai was a mandatory for a world title fight, and he chose to stay busy and take on Joey Gonzalez because he didn't want to sit there he didn't want to stay out of action while waiting a title shot, a mandatory title shot. And he went and got beat by Joey Gonzalez. Gonzalez, on the other hand, is a guy who has won at a certain level, but always come up short at a highest level. I think he's got a loss to Shakur Stevenson, right?
Yes.
And some other guys. He was a good amateur. Is this the fight where he could come across and finally break that barrier, or is Brandon Figueroa too much? Is this the title fight, right? Is Figueroa world champion or no? Or no, he's not.
No, Figueroa lost to Fulton in his last fight.
Yeah. Okay, so is this a fight where he could break through that here? A win over Figueroa would likely be the biggest of his career, but what do you see here?
It would be, but you know what? It was alarming how awful Figueroa looked in his last fight with Fulton. I mean, he was a huge favorite.
It makes this fight kind of tricky.
Yeah, he was a huge.
Joed beat a pretty stubborn guy in Kagai.
Yeah, I mean, Figueroa was a huge favorite over Fulton. That was a rematch situation. Fulton had gotten stopped by Inoue, which probably took a lot out of him. And then his follow-up fight, he barely won a 12-round decision where he had to get off the canvas to do so. So it seemed like a foregone conclusion that he was going to Figueroa was going to handle Fulton, and Fulton absolutely dominated that fight throughout the course of 12 rounds. It looked like Figueroa had trouble making weight or something because, I mean, nothing on his shots, no zip on his punches, lethargic, getting hit with everything. Figueroa looked alarmingly bad in his last fight, so I expected maybe a potential move up in the weight class, and that's not what's happening here. So if he's having trouble making weight, he's making the foolish decision in this fight with Gonzalez because he's staying in the same weight class where he struggled so mightily in the previous fight because he did not look good with Fulton. Like, he looked alarmingly bad.
All right. Well, so what are you looking at here, though, man? I mean, what do you see with Joey Gonzalez and Figueroa? I mean, what are we?
Gonzalez is live. I mean, he's hungry. Again, as you said, when he steps up to the biggest stage, he usually comes up short. Figueroa has been on that world class level for several years now.
He may be there for the taking.
What's that?
He may be there for the taking. He
could be there for the taking as well. But he's also, Figueroa again is another guy that has a reliable chin, that's sturdy, that's durable. And again, when I give these picks, people are building parlays off the picks that we're giving. I'm not always going to give the winner. I'm going to give the most reliable way to make money and keep your parlay going, So in this particular situation, again, I see the distance written all over this one. Could Gonzalez pull off the upset? Absolutely. Could Figueroa win a 12-round decision? Absolutely. So there's a situation where if you want to pick somebody for the decision, go ahead by all means. Me personally, my bets are in. I just have the fight going the distance. I see it going the 12-round distance.
He just building parlays, adding little legs to it with simple results that could get it. So and basically in the two fights we've discussed so far, you like both of these to go to distance. That's
because the worst feeling in the world is when you watch
Fierro and Figueroa, Joey Gonzalez both going to distance. That's what your main pick is. Yeah, because the worst feeling in the world is when you bet a fight to go the distance. You sweat out those 12 rounds. You take those punches with those guys. The fight goes the distance. You think maybe even your guy won, and the other opposite decision is rendered. And now you lost where you said, and that's when you say to yourself, hey, you know what? I should have just bet the distance. I should have just played it safe. But remember, betting the distance, you get screwed on a technical decision. So headbutts make things scary.
Correct, correct. You can get screwed on that. Yes, you can. That's why I put in several different parlays. That's why most of my parlays are going to be with the
Well,
money.
that's the thing, Tommy, right? We always talk about there's an art form to building a parlay, and that's a personal thing. We like to, give our discussion points and what we think will happen in these fights. But then the way the results are built into a parlay, you build several parlays with several different results, right? So
Yeah.
and no, that's an art form in and of itself, of course.
Mhm. And that, and this is a good undercard, very good undercard. So I mean, Figueroa always brings it. I mean, he's going to be fun. He's going to be exciting. But again, I just can't get that last performance out of my head against Fulton, who everybody thought Fulton was the shot fighter going in, and it turned out Figueroa looked like the one that was the shot fighter. Fulton looked
And
like
he made Fulton Fulton look like he'd been rejuvenated after
absolute. Boy, I see the guy. I watched Fulton get in the ring with worker boots on. I'm like, this guy's more shot than I thought. I'm like, he's wearing boots. No,
yeah.
he boxed Figueroa's head in. So
Yeah, and it left us questioning how much Figueroa has left to even
yeah.
be in this fight. So, and Joet, like I said, Joet is always putting up a good performance. He comes up short at the big level, but he's always performing pretty well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Always fights well. All right, so you like the distance on those two fights we just discussed. Let's talk about Fundora and Tszyu.
Oh, tough one, Paulie. Oh, I like your take on that one because I just don't know, honestly. I mean,
I'm gonna go
Bill
with.
was on such a
I
streak.
know Tszyu. I had Tszyu easily the first time around, but
Yeah, as did I.
after the Mutazalia fight, I still wonder how much Tszyu has left. Also, Fundora has come around and been impressive since.
Mhm.
But he's more confident as well. It's a bit of the Dubois Usyk situation where it's a rematch, but one guy is more confident now after the results he's gotten since that last fight. Tricky.
It's almost like they switched positions because
Yeah.
Tim Tszyu was on such a streak. He was red hot. He was looking phenomenal in every fight, and he was, if you remember, he was preparing to get ready for Charlo, and people were saying originally he wasn't ready for Charlo. He needed more experience, and he was answering those questions fight after fight with exclamation points. And then the Fundora fight, those first 2-3 rounds, he looked phenomenal. He was doing what he was supposed to do, and once that cut happened, essentially Tim Tszyu's career changed because he hasn't been the same guy since that cut. And yeah, you can point to the Joey Spencer victory in his last fight, but that doesn't prove to me that he's back. Joey Spencer's a good fighter, but he's a not a world beater. He's not a world class fighter. He's a solid fighter. He's also undersized for the weight class, and yeah, Tim Tszyu took care of him, but Tim Tszyu is supposed to take care of him.
Yeah, of course, and no, I mean that's the thing. We don't know confidence wise where Tszyu is. He went was the Spencer fight was that kind of confidence builder kind of fight,
And that's the direction I'm going in because where they're two different guys now because Fundora is certainly streaming with confidence right now. Because following the Tim Tszyu upset, he had what was it, a third or a fourth round knockout in his first title defense after that. And his not that listen, one has nothing to do with the other, but it doesn't help, it doesn't hurt when your sister's a world champion too, and she's doing her thing as well. So there's a lot of family success happening right there between the two of them.
Yeah.
So I think that he's on fire right now. So it's kind of tough and he's the underdog. Fundora is plus 130 underdog. So it's tough to pick against that. I just don't know on this one, boy. It's really a tricky fight. Tim is going to be in great shape.
Another distance fight?
You know what?
Tszyu could stop Fundora, man. I don't know. If it's
going to be finding him. There's no
I
question.
thought Tszyu would have stopped him the first time had that cut not happened. He
would have
missed him.
But is this the same Tim Tszyu that we saw before? I don't know. I mean, listen, he got one-sided in that knockout loss. He took a lot of punishment. Yeah. But the thing is, he didn't take sustained punishment over the course of 7, 8, 9 rounds. It was a quick unraveling over the course of, I think it was like 3 rounds, and that was that. But where he did take a little bit of punishment was the Fundora fight, because that was a vicious cut. He had to fight through that cut, eat punches for 12 straight rounds, and again, he hasn't been the same since that fight.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if he's not the same. But Murtazaliev is a boogeyman, right? So we don't know if that was Murtazaliev or if that was Tszyu not being the same. We don't know if I say that I don't know that Murtazaliev doesn't do that to Tszyu anyway. Like even without the Fundora fight, like Murtazaliev could be that guy,
Yeah.
So that leaves us with asking questions because the Spencer fight really doesn't answer much. Spencer's not really that good,
It does, and so this is a fight I'm not going to bet heavy, honestly. And I'm going to kind of, I'm going to lean towards Fundora in this fight. I'm going to go actually for the plus 130 underdog.
You know what, bro? I'm going against you on this one, bro.
All right, that's fine.
I like Tszyu. I don't know. I like Tszyu in this fight. I like Tszyu, and I like Tszyu possibly for a stoppage. That's right, possibly.
What also?
But the safe one is, for me, the safe one is just Tszyu money line.
Yeah. What also crossed my mind is
150 or something.
Yeah, what also crossed my mind is just this fight not going the distance either way, because Fundora, I mean, he could punch in his own right.
Yeah,
he could punch his own right.
And Tszyu, having been knocked out, may have the PTSD a little bit, right, from being out once you've been knocked out, right?
Correct. So I mean, I'll probably put some bets in.
That's a good point. Fight not going the distance probably is plus money, right?
Yeah.
Again, options to build a parlay. What decisions do we make? There's a lot of talking points here, right?
Yeah. So I haven't actually put in bets for that fight yet, which I'll probably do tonight. But I'm going to go in both directions. I'll put a little bit on Fundora for the upset, because starting off at plus 130, you're already working with plus odds that you'll get over plus 200, no problem, with a couple of little locks.
A lot of parlays, yeah. If you
maybe like a Clarissa Shields, things of that nature that are coming up soon. But I also kind of feel like this fight's not going to go the full 12 rounds. I think these guys know each other a little bit,
and so you'll just bet the fight not to go the distance.
Correct.
It separates it from Fundora just in case Tszyu stops him.
Correct. Where that puts me in a situation where the only way I get hurt,
different parlay. Yeah.
The only way I get hurt is should Tszyu win a 12-round decision. So I'm kind of covering 3 out of 4 bases again. But this fight is really, there's a lot of
it's tricky, because I think Tszyu could win a 12-round decision. It's tricky.
It is a possibility too. So that's why I'm not going heavy on this one. We just don't know if Tszyu is all the way back. If Tszyu is all the way back and he's that guy again, I like Tszyu over most guys. I was actually picking over Charlo. But I don't know if he's that guy. He had 2 really dramatic experiences, back-to-back fights.
Yeah. Stuff that leaves you PTSD. Yeah. All right, man. Well, let's speaking of heavy decisions, man. We got the big one on Saturday night that kind of caps off the entire night. We talked about the Bam main event yesterday. We talked about Usyk Dubois main event. Today, we're going to discuss the Saturday night main event on PBC, which is Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios. Yeah. What do you see there? A lot to unpack here, because Pacquiao is a guy who hasn't fought in 5 years, so we don't know what we're going to see here. Barrios is, he's a pretty good puncher, but he's so underperformed so much. He's underwhelmed so many times. Dude, it's kind of tricky. I'm going to say right now, is there a prop bet for a knockdown if you scored in the fight? Is there
I'm sure if I look into it, I'm sure there's knockdown props, But a lot of times the knockdown props, you're going to get the better odds with a knockdown prop, like Usyk getting off the canvas to beat Dubois, Paulie, plus 500. That's realistic in my eyes.
Yeah. Okay, but what about, is there prop bets that say just for a knockdown to be scored on either side, or no? Those don't exist. So
they do exist. I didn't see any yesterday, but prop bets pop up, especially before a main event in a big pay-per-view fight.
Usyk to get up off the canvas to beat Dubois, plus 500. That's like, it's not
realistic.
It's not outside the realm of possibility. Now, whether they count the knockdown or not is a different story. Yeah. But it's not outside the realm of possibility for Usyk to get up off the canvas and beat the Dubois, right? And plus 500, that's a nice one. That's a nice juicy one. That's something to keep in mind, I guess, for the extra degenerates, But let's go back to Pacquiao and Barrios. Okay, what do you see here? Because, like I said, a lot to unpack, and a lot it's not known when a guy hasn't fought in 5 years.
Well, there's things you don't know, but there's things you do know. Listen, this is not Bernard Hopkins, who didn't take a lot of punishment throughout his career, who's an active fighter. Pacquiao hasn't fought in 5 years. Pacquiao's style is built on energy, right? Constant, perpetual motion, aggression.
You beat Thurman energy even at 40, 41 years old, which
that was 5 years ago, Paulie. So Pacquiao
in their 40s wins on energy. So what are we doing here in a 12-round fight anyway? So what are we doing here? What do you see Barrios stopping him? Is that what you see?
I think Barrios wins. I think let's not get greedy here. I think Barrios realistic. Listen, Pacquiao ain't stopping Barrios.
Don't you see a possibility for Pacquiao to lay in that straight left hand and knock him out?
No, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, all happening. This guy's on the front foot all the time.
I know, but I'll tell you why, Paul. It would be shocking. It would be a monumental upset. And I'll tell you why. Pacquiao's had one knockout since Miguel Cotto in 2009, and that knockout over Matisse. 7th round stoppage, and that was what, 6-7 years ago.
All those guys were much better than Mario Barrios.
Oh, 100%.
Even Matisse is better than Mario Barrios.
But he's 46 years old, Paul. With over 70 professional fights under his belt.
And a lot of wars.
5 years of inactivity. And he's 5'6", fighting a guy that, on paper, Barrios is listed as 6 foot. I don't know how accurate that is.
5'10", 5'11", though, at least.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got a lot of height and reach on Manny. Dude, 46.
But the height and reach doesn't matter with Barry. He's on the front foot, so he gets hit anyway.
Yeah.
No, you gotta know how to use it on your back foot. He's on the front foot.
No, you're right. I can see, but Pacquiao's gonna be fading that second half of the fight, where the old Manny Pacquiao is accelerating the second half of the fight and gaining momentum in the second half of the fight,
All right, all
round
right.
after
But you
round.
can't see one moment of double pump, double feint pump, and straight left hand the way Pacquiao used to. That double feint, that double pump, feint, close the gap, straight left hand down the middle, and Barrios is out for the count. You can't see it.
I can't. I think you see it. I think you see it. I mean, if you see something I
Oh,
don't see. Listen, I'm just thinking logically, Paulie. When you talk about the oldest world champion that ever existed was Bernard Hopkins, right? That ever lived. And that didn't happen too long ago. But the difference was Bernard Hopkins' style, besides the fact that he was active and Pacquiao's an inactive fighter, Bernard Hopkins' style was to get you to play chess with him, to slow the pace down, to think with him. Once that
yeah.
happened, he
No,
got you.
Pacquiao never ever learned that, which is why
No.
he was always fishy to me because he never actually learned to win slowing the pace down. He always won on pace, including when
And
he was.
if you remember Pacquiao's last fight against Ungas, he was winning against Ungas after 7 rounds. Manny Pacquiao was winning that fight. And what
Yeah.
happened rounds 8 through 12? The gas tank depleted.
Ugas, mind you, got beat by Barrios.
Correct. So there's that common opponent to take into consideration. And Barrios beat him fairly easy. I mean, Barrios dropped him twice. He's barely survived the 12 rounds. I had my heart in my chest because I bet the distance in that fight. And he got dropped in the 12th round, like 20 seconds before the bell, with the swollen shut eye. So I was worried on my bet on that one.
What do you?
Paulie,
You're looking at you look at this one, just not getting greedy, just Barrios to win money line.
Yeah, the odds have dropped. So Pacquiao started out probably at like plus 470, something insane.
And then what did you get now?
About plus 250.
Okay, where's Barrios? Minus 300?
Minus 3 to 350, you'll find the match.
So you're talking about improving a parlay, throwing it into a parlay, so you don't have the bigger, the harsh odds.
Yeah, so if you're using Barrios on the money line, and then you're combining that with, let's say, either Figueroa going the distance or Cruz going the distance.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Today you're looking at Cruz going the distance with Fierro. You're looking at Figueroa going the distance with Joey Gonzalez. And then you're looking at Mario Barrios to win. But that's not necessarily one parlay put together. Like we're talking about, you're looking at, you got to build, you like your picks, and then you figure out on your own what parlay you're going to build off your picks. But
and let's not forget some of the picks.
That's not necessarily, what you're saying is that those are your picks, but you may not necessarily put them in the parlay together. You may, but you still have to analyze all your picks and then see how you're going to build that parlay, which in itself is its own art form, of course.
Yeah, and don't forget about yesterday's picks. I'm going to be including those as well for Usyk money line, for Usyk for the fight not going the distance.
I want to put something out there too, Tommy. You don't build long, huge parlays to where, because that's more of a chance to lose it. You don't build a 10 leg parlay. You'll build a 4 or 5 leg parlay, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Because even if they're strong picks, to win 10 or 11 in a row, still tough. So probably 5 at the most.
I will do the occasional 7, 8 leg parlay, of course. I'll even do a 9 leg parlay, but I'm not going to bet a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
That'll be something I do with nice odds, but it'll be a $15, $20 bet with good odds,
Yeah.
And more times than not, those won't hit because, again, too many things have to go right. The slightest thing goes wrong, that's it.
Yeah, you don't have dreams of winning the World Series. You pay rent, alimony.
Alimony.
Yeah, I got you. I see. I got you. I know. Little rounders quote for the kids. If anybody's seen the movie Rounders,
if you haven't seen the movie Rounders,
you're missing out.
Yeah, watch the movie Rounders. My God.
Anyway, all right, man. I mean, that's it. That's our second episode this week. We usually, guys, if it's your first time tuning in, we usually don't do more than one episode a week. But because there's such a packed boxing schedule, we didn't want to give you one long episode. So here at Tommy and Paulie's Big Fight Forecast, it's usually one show a week. Subscribe, like, especially if you're into gambling, listen to our conversations. Like I said, none of what we say is gambling or investing advice, but it is, we like to be public with our interpretation of the gambling odds.
Yeah, and next week we're gonna have to break down this week just a little bit since we got opposite picks here. You like Tszyu.
I like Tszyu.
And you sometimes.
I'm not saying I like Pacquiao, but I mean he's live. I don't think Barrios is as much of a lock as some people think, and I think people are reflecting that. A lot of bets have come in on Manny, and the odds have dropped, right? So that's also a possibility,
Yeah, no, there's been a lot of late money on him, but a lot of that also has to do with degenerates. People out there, like our friend Nick, who says, "Oh my God, plus 450 odds. How do I not throw $100 on Manny to win 450?"
Yeah, of course.
And then parlay that with 6 other guys, and I got plus 800 odds.
All right, man. That's guys, we hope you've enjoyed. Again, like, subscribe, and check it out. Leave your comments. Let us know what you think in the comments about our picks, and what you think of the odds, and also your picks for the week. And tune in next week. This is Tommy and Paulie's Big Fight Forecast.